All right. Welcome, everyone. We're diving deep into Super Bowl LIX today.
Yeah, this one had it all, really.
Definitely not just about the score, though.
Mhm.
I think everyone was pretty shocked by that.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going beyond the highlights, what made this game, the halftime show, the whole thing so memorable.
Right.
We've got articles breaking down that Eagles victory, a piece on Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, pretty unique.
Yeah.
And even a few glimpses of the celebrities out there in the stands.
Lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. So let's get into it.
Well, I gotta say, just starting with that upset, I mean, the scale of it, like the Kansas City Chiefs, they were going for, historic third Super Bowl win in a row.
Right.
They were favored. I mean, almost everyone predicted a pretty easy win for them. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they had other plans.
They sure did. I mean, they crushed the Chiefs 40-22. Like it wasn't just a win, it was domination.
Total domination. And revenge, let's not forget that, for their Super Bowl 57 loss.
Oh, yeah.
Just 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts was amazing then, but this time he led his team to victory, got that MVP title.
He deserved it. It was incredible to watch. I wonder, for those who, don't follow football super closely, could you break down a little bit why this upset was so surprising?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs have been, dominant for years. They've got this powerhouse offense led by, Patrick Mahomes,
Right.
one of the most talented quarterbacks out there.
For sure.
So to see their offense just get completely shut down by the Eagles defense, I mean, unexpected is an understatement.
Yeah, you mentioned the Eagles defense. I mean, they sacked Mahomes 6 times. Like what led to that? Was it just one player having this incredible day, or was it more, a whole team strategy?
It was a combination. The Eagles defensive line, I mean, they were playing lights out.
Yeah.
Their coaches, that they came up with this really brilliant game plan to put pressure on Mahomes. And the Chiefs they struggled to adjust. Mahomes ended up throwing 2 interceptions, which, I mean, that's almost unheard of for him.
Right.
And one of those was a pick 6 by Cooper DeJean, which basically means he intercepted the ball and ran it all the way back for a touchdown.
Wow.
It was a huge momentum shift early in the game.
Yeah, a pick 6, that's gotta be tough to come back from. I mean,
Yeah.
It sounds like that early momentum shift really threw the Chiefs off. I mean, they never really recovered, did they?
Not really. I mean, Mahomes, yeah, he's known for making these incredible plays, but he just couldn't seem to find his rhythm against the Eagles.
Right.
And the Eagles, on the other hand, they were firing on all cylinders.
Like that 46-yard touchdown pass from Hurts to Devonta Smith.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was just picture perfect.
Textbook. But speaking of game-changing plays, we got to talk about the tush push.
Oh, right, the tush push. This is the one that's generating all the buzz, all the controversy. I mean, Eagles used it to score their first touchdown.
First touchdown.
And they're really divided. Is it brilliant strategy, or is this something that needs to be, banned from the game?
Yeah, we'll unpack that tush push a little later.
Yeah.
I think it's a great example of how one play can spark this whole debate about the rules and even, the spirit of the game itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I do want to hear a little bit more about your take on the overall strategy of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, were there any other key decisions or moments that you think led to that Eagles victory?
I think the Eagles' commitment to their running game, I mean, they really stuck with it.
Yeah.
Even when it seemed like the Chiefs were expecting them to pass. And I think that kept the Chiefs' defense off balance, and let the Eagles kind of control that clock.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's classic. Stick to your strengths. Don't let the other team, dictate your game plan.
Exactly. And the Eagles' offensive line, I mean, got to give them credit, creating those running lanes.
Right.
They were a force. But you're right, we got to talk about that tush push.
Okay, let's dive into it.
Yeah.
For those who might not be, familiar, can you just explain exactly what this play is?
So it's basically a quarterback sneak.
Okay.
Which is, a short run where the quarterback's trying to gain, a yard or two by pushing forward behind that offensive line.
Right.
But in the tush push, the whole offensive line, they push the quarterback from behind using their backsides for that extra leverage.
So it's like a super-powered quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like comical when you describe it, but it's clearly I mean, it's effective.
Oh, it's effective, and that's what's causing all this debate. The Eagles used it multiple times during the game, including for that first touchdown. And some people, they're arguing that it's, it's smart, it's strategy. You're exploiting the rules as they are.
Right.
But others are saying, it's unsportsmanlike. It takes away from the skill of the game.
Yeah, I've heard both sides. I mean, is there any precedent for banning plays like this? Has the NFL ever stepped in and said, nope, this is not okay, we're not doing this anymore?
It's rare, but it has happened.
Okay.
I mean, remember the wedge formation on kickoffs?
Right.
That was banned because it was deemed too dangerous. So there's a chance that the NFL, they might take a look at this touch push in the offseason and decide whether it needs to be, regulated or changed.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, I mean, if every team starts using this touch push, does it fundamentally change the game?
It's a great question, and that's what makes this so interesting. It really challenges, what we think about, like what's fair, what's skillful. I bet defensive coordinators all across the league they're already trying to figure out how to counter this thing.
So it might actually lead to a wave of defensive innovation.
Possibly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we get too carried away talking about the touch push, let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance.
Yeah.
This was a far cry from the typical, pop spectacle you usually see at the Super Bowl.
It really was. Lamar, I mean, he went for artistry over those usual, crowd-pleasing hits.
Yeah.
He even included an unreleased track, which is pretty bold for this kind of stage.
Oh.
The whole thing was so theatrical, almost like a play. I mean, he started on top of this vintage Buick, dancers and in these red, white, and blue tracksuits. Then he moved to this elaborate set that looked like a Compton Street corner.
Wow. It sounds visually stunning.
Oh, it was.
What about the music? Like what kind of music did he play? Did he stick to his, more well-known hits, or was it more experimental?
He did a mix. Yeah, he included some popular songs, but then he went into these deeper cuts.
Okay.
And even that unreleased track. And then there's the Drake diss.
Oh, right. The diss track aimed at Drake. Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Sure. So Lamar and Drake, I mean, they've had this tension for years.
Okay.
It's a complicated rivalry, but basically they're seen as, two of the biggest names in hip hop.
Right.
And there's always been this speculation about, who's better.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamar's diss track, it's called Not Like Us.
Okay.
It directly addresses that tension, It's powerful. I mean, it's full of these pointed lyrics, accusations.
And he included that in his Super Bowl performance.
He did. He teased it at first and then played some calmer songs with SEA, almost like playing with the audience's expectations.
Okay.
And then boom, he unleashes the full force of Not Like Us with this, I swear, this maniacal grin.
Wow. It sounds like he really used that Super Bowl stage to make a statement. I mean, both artistically and personally.
Oh, he did.
This is not your, typical halftime show with just catchy pop hits and big dance routines. Yeah. He was saying something.
He was making a statement. Do you think we'll see more halftime shows like this in the future? Artists using the platform for something more than just, entertainment?
Right.
Or was Lamar's performance kind of a one-time thing?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the NFL usually plays it pretty safe, right?
Uh-huh.
They want things family friendly, but Lamar's performance definitely got people talking. That's for sure.
It did.
So it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to, take more risks like that in the future. Embrace that kind of artistry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a conversation starter. And speaking of sparking conversations, there was another moment during Lamar's performance that raised some eyebrows. Someone in the stands, they raised Palestinian and Sudanese flags.
Yeah.
It's not clear if it was, planned or just a spontaneous protest, but it definitely added another layer to the whole event.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the power of the Super Bowl as a platform, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not just for entertainment, but for political and social messages too.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to circle back to the Eagles and Chiefs game for a second.
Sure.
I keep thinking about the contrast, between the Eagles' victory and the Chiefs' defeat.
Yeah.
You've got this incredible underdog story on one side, right?
Yeah.
A team that learned from their mistakes, faced adversity, and then ultimately achieved their goal.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you've got this seemingly invincible dynasty suddenly brought down to earth.
Yeah, it's a classic David and Goliath story.
It is.
I mean, the Eagles, they came in with a chip on their shoulder. They outmaneuvered the Chiefs, who maybe underestimated them.
Yeah, I think there's something to that.
And it's a reminder that in sports, I mean, anything can happen, right?
Right.
No team is unbeatable. No victory is guaranteed.
Nope.
And the Eagles, they embraced that uncertainty, and they used it to their advantage.
They did.
It's what makes sports so captivating,
Yeah.
that unpredictability, that sense that anything is possible.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I gotta ask you,
Yeah.
what stands out to you as the most significant takeaway from Super Bowl LIX? Is it the Eagles' impressive victory? Is it that tush-push controversy? Is it Lamar's groundbreaking halftime performance?
For me, it's the combination of all of those things. I mean, this Super Bowl was a whirlwind. It was storylines, it was controversies, it was unforgettable moments, it was athleticism, moments that made you jump out of your seat. It sparked debates about the rules, about the essence of the game. I mean, it had it all.
It did. It really did. And that's what makes, deep dives like this so rewarding. It's about going beyond the surface, really exploring all those layers of meaning, the questions, the controversies that make these events, so fascinating.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. We encourage you all to keep thinking about these questions, share your insights with others, keep those conversations going.
Yes, keep them going.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Super Bowl LIX. Until next time.